Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsy69 and welcome back to the channel. Today we have another right tank, wrong gun episode. It's been a while, but we are back with another episode, and we have the FV4202, the British tier 10 medium tank. You can also add the tier 9, the Centurion 7.1 to this, because they've pretty much got both the same gun. Now, the FV4202, I love this tank. It's one of my favorite tanks in the game for one reason only, and that is the HESH. The HESH is fantastic. However, it does have a different gun. Now, the reason it has a different gun, because a while ago it had just the HESH gun, and Wargaming decided to remove it because the good players were doing too good with it and the bad players were doing too bad with it. So they decided to remove it and give it a different gun with pretty much the same gun but different ammo loadout, and it had heat instead of HESH. It did have HESH, but like as the HE, but it was the lower pen HESH. So after a lot of people complained, Wargaming decided, you know what, we'll add the gun back in, but we'll add two guns. So the bad players that don't know how to use HESH, or not just bad players, you can have good players that doesn't really know how to get the hang of HESH. They have a choice. They have the HESH gun or they have the heat gun. Now, stat-wise, the heat gun is probably better, but the HESH gun is where it's at. That's where the DPM is at, the amazing HESH, and that is why it's just a unique, fun tank to play. However, both guns are really good. There's no really right or wrong, but for me, the heat gun is the wrong choice because it's not as fun. It's just basically another medium in tier 10 with this gun. But if you don't know how to play the HESH, if you're no good at using HESH, then for sure use this gun. It's just as good. So we're going to have a look at the stats and compare the stats. So on the heat gun, you have 268 on your APCR, which is the same as the HESH gun, but on your heat, you have the 330mm of pen, where on the HESH gun, you have 231mm of HESH. So considerable less amount, and there is situations in game where that really does help. I mean, when you're face hugging a mouse, for instance, or when you've only got the front of a mouse to shoot, or you've only got the front of an E100 to shoot, or a VK72, then the heat gun really comes in handy because you can just switch to heat and you can penetrate the cheeks no problem at all. It still does have HESH. I mean, it has 116mm of HESH, which is still more than enough, more than most tier 10 HE rounds. So you can still use that the HESH when you get behind tanks, but not tanks. Like, if you use the HESH gun, you can get to the side of an E100 and HESH the side of an E100 and plenty of other tanks, and the rear of pretty much every tank. With the heat gun, you can't use that. You can't do that. There's only certain tanks that you can shoot the rear of. I mean, the E100, you've got no chance of shooting HE. So there is situations where the heat gun does come in handy. Obviously, the heat does less damage than the HESH, 140 damage less at 300. Of course, your APCR is all the same gun depression and everything like that. So literally the only change, the DPM is exactly the same. It's pretty much exactly the same gun, except for they've switched the HESH and the heat around. So we're going to get into some battles just to see how the heat gun plays out in battle. So we have 3 battles for you today. I'm playing on the NA server because I don't know why. It's I think it was because I had so many replays, etc. on my main account. I had nothing on my NA account, and I just fancied going to play on my NA account pretty much. And also, I couldn't be bothered to switch all the ammo around on my main account. It's just, you know, I'll use this, and I fancied playing NA. So we've got 3 battles, and all 3 I use the heat gun, and I do a pretty good job, to be honest. As I've said, the gun, there's nothing wrong with the gun. The gun is perfectly fine, especially with the tier 10 mediums in tier 10. It's no different. I mean, it's a really good gun. It really is a good gun, but it just takes away that oomph, you know, the wow factor. It just turns into another tier 10 medium with the same kind of DPM as the other mediums. Actually, probably a little bit less, not much less, but you run the HESH gun and you're able to shoot HESH almost every single time, you're looking at over 4,000 DPM. And there is lots of times that you can use the HESH gun. I mean, here, the back of that Jaegeru, if I had the HESH gun, I could be doing up to 575 damage to him easily. The side of him, I could be shooting him with HESH. With this, you can't. With the HESH on this tank, you can't. I do manage to shoot the rear of the Jagdtiger, and you can see just over 500 damage there, which you can do that every single shot with the HESH gun. Yes, there is times that you're going to low roll and do 7 damage or 20 damage or even 100 damage, but that's the risk you need to take. You want to do the high damage shots, you got to take some risks, and sometimes it does pay off. So this battle, I mean, we've used the HESH a few times. We haven't needed to use the heat, so we still finish on 3.5k damage. So you can still use the heat. You can still use the HESH, sorry, into the side. I don't know where that shot went. It just went into thin air. I mean, we have the M60, so of course we're going to shoot HE443. So on this gun, it probably isn't worth using the HESH as much. I mean, you're not going to use a lot of heat anyway. So you're only going to use heat when you come up against those big heavy tanks with a lot of armor. And when I was running this tank with this gun, like here, I could be shooting HESH at this T62 bottom plate, side plate, but because I'm running this gun, I'm unable to do that. So because of that, I'm dramatically reducing my DPM by shooting him with the APCR. So here, I mean, we only low roll. With the other HESH gun, we would have probably penetrated that nice and easy. And again, we are going to, I mean, we shoot his track there, so that was unfortunate. But we are going to take him out. We are going to switch to the APCR, and we are going to take him out. We do get a shot in return, well, for 54 damage. So that's now one tank down. We're on 2k damage, and there is still 5 against 5, but our E5 is in a lot of trouble. He is gone to bring it now down to a 4 versus 5. So I need to save my hit points. I need to clear, especially these big targets here with the grill and the waffle. These are tanks that you can use the HE for. I mean, the grill was very low hit points anyway. My tank to the right, he kind of misses his shots, which allows me to get the kill. And just as I go to rush the waffle, the FV4202 takes him out to bring it down to a 4 versus 2. There is still an IS-7 that is full hit points, so we do need to be careful of him as he is taking out our team. It's going to end up on a 2 versus 2 in a minute, and I really want to take out the WZ113. So as you can see at the moment, we haven't really seen any advantage using the heat gun, because we haven't needed to use the heat gun at all. So we've only really, using this gun, we've only really seen disadvantages. We could have pumped up a lot more damage against the T62. We could probably be getting around this guy and shooting his side with HESH, but we can't do that with the other gun, with this gun, sorry. So we do want to take him out. I mean, the WZ is coming behind. He is going to shoot him, and I'm going to clear him now, just leaving the IS-7, which we are going to get shot. And in a moment is probably the only time, well, the only time for the last 2 battles at least, that I am going to use the heat, and we are seeing the advantage of the heat. I mean, 375 high roll. Luckily, we put him down to a 1 shot, but even with the other gun, we could have probably got around him anyway. We could have took a shot, so we didn't really have to shoot that heat if we didn't want to. But that game anyway, we finish on 3.8k damage. We get 5 kills. Again, we get first class, make some credits. That is something you don't do a lot of when you use the HESH gun, because it does cost quite a lot of credits. Fair play to the IS-7 there. He grabs himself an ace, and the WZ113 did a pretty good job as well. So well played to that IS-7, and congratulations on that ace. So moving on to the last battle. Now this we are going to do a little bit better, but again, I don't think we're going to shoot the heat. So we'll see. So with the gun depression, don't forget this has 10 degrees of gun depression as well, which is really, really nice, and it's good for these pokey, I mean poke out, take a shot and back up again. And that's what I love about this tank with the speed. It hasn't got much armor. I mean the turret is really weak. The front plate's pretty troll, and you can get the occasional bounce from that. So using that 10 degrees of gun depression is an absolute must. And I mean, we're going to get some shots here. We could have actually probably penetrated that E5 with HESH on the bottom plate. That's just how good the HESH is. I mean, 230 millimeters of HESH pen is crazy. Is absolutely crazy. And you'll be surprised at just how many tanks you can HE. So this IS-7 is going to be very troll. And I mean, the IS-7 is troll anyway, the armor. And I mean, we're going to get a bounce there. I'm like, what? And we are going to get another bounce on him any moment now, which we pretty much shoot him in the exact same place. So 2 troll bounces there. That wouldn't have been any different if we would have shot HESH. I don't think we wouldn't have shot HESH at this side anyway, so we didn't really see a difference there. So now we have that E5. So again, there's no need to shoot the heat, there's no need to shoot the HESH. We can easily penetrate him with the APCR, and he's going to back up, and we are going to get another shot into him. So the enemy are 1 tank down, and the E5 is pretty low hit points. We are going to wait to see if we can get a shot on him. We're going to wait to see if he backs up. Unfortunately, he does just turn his tracks in time to get the bounce. Now, I am paying attention to the minimap because I do know, I am aware that there is a STB flanking around. That was stupid. I didn't really need to take that shot. And here is the STB. And again, this kind of position, we could be shooting him with HESH. We could be shooting his side with HESH. Maybe his front plate with HESH as well. And definitely his rear. So we could have probably taken him out by now, but instead we have to go up and use another shot to take him out. But we do we don't low roll, but we leave him on 16 HP. So, and I've taken a shot in return. So we could have took that guy out a long time ago, but we did take longer than expected. Next up, there is an E4. Again, we could be shooting HESH, but I probably wouldn't be shooting HESH at the side just because you never know if it's going to penetrate, and we do take him out anyway. So we're on now 3,600 damage. I don't really want to be shot from this T57. He does take a shot, and I know he's got 2 shells left, so I'm happy to poke out at least once more and get shot once more, but we do bounce, which means I can now poke forward. He has 1 shell left, but it doesn't matter. We win the game, and we end that game on 4,300 damage. And again, we get a first class, but we make some more credits. So that is the FV4202 with the heat gun. I would say it's the wrong gun because it's just not as fun, and you get so much more advantage using the HESH gun if you know how to play it. That's only if you know how to play it. I'm Meadsy69, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you soon. With